She laughed when she rear-ended him. Laughed. The sound cut through the night air like broken glass, high-pitched, careless, entitled. A laugh that assumed safety, that presumed immunity. A laugh that said, consequences are for other people. Marcus Reed stood on the sidewalk, heart racing, trying to make sense of what had just happened. His back bumper was crumpled like an aluminum can. The girl who hit him smelled like tequila and teenage rebellion. She was slurring her words, stumbling in her flip-flops, blonde hair tangled around her flushed face. "My dad's a cop," she smirked, eyes glassy and unfocused. "You're screwed." Those words hung in the humid Nashville night air, buzzing around Marcus's head like mosquitoes. He'd done everything right his entire life. Everything. And now this? Marcus was the one who called 911. But when the officers arrived, they didn't even look at her. They went straight for him. Cuffed. Searched. Humiliated. And her? She got a ride home. Marcus Reed wasn't the kind of man who made trouble. At 28, he was the kind who cleaned it up. Middle child of Loretta Reed, a school cafeteria worker who raised 3 children on her own. By 12, he was the man of the house, taking out trash, fixing leaky faucets, walking his sisters to school. Now he worked 10-hour shifts at Packrite, a packaging warehouse outside Nashville. The work was monotonous but stable. On weekends, he volunteered teaching kids robotics. His supervisor often told him he should have been an engineer. Marcus would just smile. Maybe in another life. There had been dreams once, college, maybe grad school. His high school robotics team had won state championships. But when his mother was diagnosed with lupus right after his graduation, those dreams dissolved. Someone had to keep the lights on. So Marcus became reliable, steady, unremarkable. He called his mother every Sunday. Never missed rent. Kept his head down. Stayed out of trouble. His world was small, steady, and safe. Until that night. It was 1:17 a.m. Marcus was driving home in his dusty Honda after pulling a double shift. An unexpected shipment had arrived late, and his supervisor had asked if anyone could stay. Marcus needed the overtime, his sister needed help with her son's dental work. Now, exhaustion pulled at his eyelids as he navigated familiar streets. He was just a block from home when he stopped at a red light. The streets were empty. The city slept. Then it happened. The screech of tires came first, high-pitched, urgent. Then the sickening crunch of metal on metal. The violent jolt that sent his coffee flying into his lap. His body lurched forward, then slammed back against the seat. Someone had slammed into him from behind. Slowly, Marcus stepped out into the night. Behind him, a white BMW convertible, top down despite the late hour, was crumpled in the front. Steam hissed from beneath the hood. The girl driving looked barely 18.
If you are enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means a lot to us. We are just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you. And back to the video.
She stumbled out, nearly tripping over her own feet. And she was laughing. "Oops," she slurred, steadying herself against her car. "Guess I didn't see you there." Her breath reeked of alcohol. An open bottle of tequila glinted in her cup holder. Marcus felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. Instinctively, he pulled out his phone and began recording. "Are you okay?" he asked, keeping his voice level. "Relax, dude," she said, fumbling with her own phone. "My dad's a cop. You'll be fine." She said it casually, as if commenting on the weather. "My dad's a cop. You'll be fine." As if those two statements naturally followed each other. "I'm going to call the police," Marcus said, still recording. The girl, he would later learn her name was Kelsey, rolled her eyes dramatically. "Whatever. I already texted my dad. He'll take care of it." Marcus felt sweat trickle down his back despite the cool night. But he did everything right. Called 911. Reported their location. took pictures of the damage, of her, of the license plate, of the open alcohol bottle. When the police cruiser pulled up 10 minutes later, red and blue lights slicing through darkness, relief washed over Marcus. The system would work. It had to. Until the officer stepped out. Sergeant Wayne Middleton. Stocky. Square-jawed. Tense. His hand rested on his holster as he surveyed the scene, eyes narrowing when they landed on Marcus. The girl, Kelsey, ran straight to him, suddenly finding her balance. "Hi, Uncle Wayne," she giggled, throwing her arms around the officer. "I need a ride." They hugged. Uncle Wayne. Marcus watched in disbelief as reality shifted before his eyes. "Officer," he said, stepping forward cautiously, phone still recording. "She rear-ended me. She's drunk. I have it all on video." The officer's smile vanished. His eyes hardened. "Step back," he barked, hand moving to his weapon. "Hands where I can see them." "Wait, what?" Marcus blinked, confusion washing over him. "You match a suspect description," Middleton said, advancing. "Put the phone down. Now." Marcus's heart dropped, a stone plummeting through dark water. "I'm just recording for insurance purposes," he said, voice steady despite the thunder of his pulse. "I haven't done anything wrong. I said put the phone down." Middleton shouted, drawing his weapon. The world narrowed to a pinpoint. Marcus carefully placed his phone on the ground, then raised his hands again. "Turn around. Hands behind your back." He was cuffed, roughly patted down, and forced to sit on the curb while Kelsey sat in the front seat of the cruiser, sipping water and scrolling through her phone. No breathalyzer. No field sobriety test. No citation. What suspect description? Marcus asked as another police car pulled up. "Armed robbery at a convenience store 3 blocks from here," Middleton replied without looking at him. "Black male, dark clothing." Marcus looked down at his khaki work pants and navy blue company polo with his name embroidered on the chest. His employee ID badge still hung around his neck. "I'm coming from work," he said. "I've been there since 2 p.m. You can call my supervisor." But Middleton wasn't listening. "We'll need to take him in," he told the second officer. "Process him downtown." "For what?" Marcus asked, fear igniting in his chest. "I haven't done anything." "Noncompliance with a police officer," Middleton snapped. "And we'll see what else sticks." As Marcus was led to the second police car, Kelsey gave him a small, smug smile from the front seat of Middleton's cruiser. "Told you," she mouthed silently. The last thing Marcus saw before the patrol car pulled away was Sergeant Middleton picking up his phone, turning it over in his hands, then slipping it into his pocket.
If you are enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means a lot to us. We are just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you. And back to the video.
Marcus's car was towed. His phone was logged into evidence. He spent the night in a holding cell with 3 other men, 1 homeless, 1 drunk, 1 silent. When they released him the next morning, they told him he was lucky. "No charges this time," the desk sergeant said, sliding a plastic bag containing his wallet, keys, and phone across the counter. "Be more cooperative in the future." Marcus went home in silence. His body ached from the collision and from sleeping on a thin jail mattress. His phone was dead. His car was in an impound lot somewhere, accumulating fees he couldn't afford. But when he plugged in his phone and it flickered to life, he discovered something they hadn't managed to delete. The video had automatically uploaded to his cloud storage. All of it. The accident. Kelsey's drunken confession. "My dad's a cop." The arrival of Sergeant Middleton. The hug. The false accusation. The arrest. Marcus sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the footage. His hands trembled slightly as he played it back. Something broke open inside him, not like a dam bursting, but like a seed splitting its shell. Quiet. Inevitable. Powerful. He uploaded the clip to Twitter with a short caption. "She hit me. I called 911. She walked free. I got cuffed." By noon, the video had 50,000 views. Marcus had fallen into exhausted sleep shortly after posting. When he woke, his phone was vibrating continuously with notifications. 100 retweets. 500 retweets. 1,000 retweets. Comments poured in. "This is what black men face every day. Who is this officer? Name and badge number? She's clearly wasted. How is she not in jail right now? This is why people say a cab. So because her dad's a cop, she gets special treatment? Disgusting." His phone rang. An unknown number. "Hello," he answered cautiously. "Is this Marcus Reed?" "Zoe Lancaster, WKRN News 2. We've seen your video and we'd like to get your side of the story. Would you be willing to do an interview this afternoon?" Marcus hesitated. His mother's voice echoed, "Don't make waves, baby. The water always wins." But something else rose up alongside it. His own voice, "If not me, then who?" "Yes," he heard himself say. "I would." By 3 p.m., a news crew was setting up in his living room. By 6 p.m., his face was on the evening news. Nashville man claims police bias after traffic accident. He watched himself on screen, surprised by his composure as he recounted the events. "I did everything right," he told the reporter. "I called 911. I checked if she was hurt. I wasn't angry or aggressive. And still, I was the one who ended up in handcuffs." The station had blurred Kelsey's face, but her words rang out clearly. "My dad's a cop. You'll be fine." By 9 p.m., national outlets had picked up the story. By the next morning, Marcus had requests from CNN, MSNBC, and Good Morning America. Within 12 hours, the post had 500,000 views. By day 2, 2.7 million. The hashtag Justice for Marcus was trending nationwide. Internet sleuths went to work. By week's end, Kelsey's identity was uncovered. Kelsey Donovan, 19, sophomore at Vanderbilt University. Her father, Sergeant Mark Donovan, was a high-ranking officer with over 20 years in the Nashville Police Department. Uncle Wayne was identified as Sergeant Wayne Middleton, Sergeant Donovan's partner of 15 years and Kelsey's godfather. That's when the email started. The phone calls to his mother's house. Some supportive. "Stay strong, brother. We've got your back." Others not. "You need to take that video down. You're poking the wrong bear. Cops stick together. Watch your back." The Nashville Police Department issued a brief statement. "We are aware of the video circulating on social media and take these allegations seriously. An internal investigation has been launched." Marcus received a call from the impound lot. His car had been processed. He could pick it up after paying $275 in fees. When he arrived, the attendant, a middle-aged white man with thinning hair, looked at him with narrowed eyes. "You're that guy from the video," he said flatly. "Making a lot of trouble for our boys in blue." When Marcus got to his Honda, he found that someone had keyed the word liar into the driver's side door. That night, Marcus sat alone in his apartment, blinds drawn. His phone continued to buzz. The local news played on mute, his own face occasionally flashing across the screen. For the first time since the accident, doubt crept in. What had he done? Was it worth it? Then his phone rang. His mother. "Baby," Loretta Reed's voice was tired but firm. "Are you watching Channel 5? "No, why?" "Turn it on right now." Marcus grabbed the remote. There on the screen was a young black woman standing outside a hospital. Tiffany Wilson, speaking out after seeing a viral video that she says mirrors her own experience. The camera cut to another woman, early 20s, sitting in a hospital room. Her right arm was in a cast, a nasty bruise discoloring her face. It was last October, she was saying. I was driving home from my hospital shift. This white BMW came out of nowhere, ran a red light, and T-boned my car. The driver was clearly intoxicated, but when the police came... She paused, tears welling. They never even gave her a breathalyzer. They said I ran the light. Their report stated I was at fault. My insurance rates doubled. I'm still paying off medical bills. And the driver of the BMW? Her name was Kelsey. Kelsey Donovan. Marcus sat up straight, heart pounding. When I saw that video this morning, the woman continued, I knew it was the same girl. Same car. Same excuse about her dad being a cop. I felt sick. If someone had believed me back then, maybe this wouldn't have happened to that man. His phone rang again. An unknown number. Mr. Reed? This is Detective Carlos Ramirez with Internal Affairs. We need to speak with you as soon as possible. And just like that, Marcus knew there was no turning back.
If you are enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means a lot to us. We are just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you. And back to the video.
The Internal Affairs interview room was cold and sterile. Marcus sat across from Detective Ramirez and Detective Chen. A digital recorder captured every word. Take us through what happened that night, Detective Chen said, her voice professional but not unkind. For the next hour, Marcus recounted every detail. The accident. Kelsey's drunken state. Sergeant Middleton's arrival. The arrest. The night in jail. And at no point was Ms. Donovan given a field sobriety test? Ramirez asked. No. She wasn't even questioned. The detectives exchanged glances. Mr. Reed, Detective Chen said carefully, we've received similar reports about Sergeant Donovan and his daughter. Your video has opened some floodgates. 5 other incidents involving Kelsey Donovan had been reported since his video went viral. In each case, she had been driving drunk. In 3 cases, she had caused accidents. Every time, her father or a colleague responded. No charges were ever filed. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. His phone buzzed. An email. From anonymous at protonmail.com. Subject, thought you should see this. The email contained a police report from 2 years ago. A DUI arrest. The suspect, Kelsey Donovan. The arresting officer, Patrolman James Rodriguez. The report was detailed. Breathalyzer results showing a BAC of 0.16, twice the legal limit. Field sobriety test failed. Open container in the vehicle. At the bottom was a handwritten note, case dismissed by order of Captain Thomas Wells. Evidence deemed insufficient. A second email arrived. Officer Rodriguez was transferred to traffic duty after filing that report. He quit 6 months later. There are good cops trying to do the right thing. They get punished too. The next morning, Marcus's story was front-page news, pattern of privilege, how a Nashville police officer protected his daughter from multiple DUI charges. Activists organized protests outside police headquarters. Freedom of Information Act requests were filed en masse. Journalists dug into years of arrest records, looking for patterns. The mayor announced an independent investigation. 3 days later, the Department of Justice launched a civil rights probe into the Nashville Police Department. Sergeant Donovan and Sergeant Middleton were placed on administrative leave. Kelsey Donovan was arrested and charged with reckless endangerment, DUI, and underage drinking. Her mugshot appeared in the newspaper, eyes red, mascara streaked down her cheeks. She looked young. Scared. Human. Marcus felt no satisfaction seeing it. 2 weeks later, his phone rang. Another unknown number. Is this Marcus Reed? This is Richard Donovan. Mark Donovan's brother. Kelsey's uncle. Marcus's grip tightened on the phone. What do you want? To meet. To talk. Please. They met at a coffee shop downtown. Richard was in his 50s, with graying hair and the same square jaw as his brother. But his eyes were different, softer, sadder. "I want to start by saying I'm sorry," Richard said, voice low and steady. "What happened to you was wrong. Plain and simple." He took a sip of coffee, hands trembling slightly. "Mark, my brother, he's not a bad man. But he's a terrible father. Has been ever since Kelsey's mother died when she was 12. He couldn't say no to her. Couldn't discipline her. And over time, that twisted into this." "Why are you telling me this?" Marcus asked. Richard sighed heavily. "Because I want you to know that our family is ashamed. And because they want to offer you a settlement." "A settlement?" $200,000. "In exchange for dropping any potential lawsuit and signing an NDA." $200,000. Enough to pay off his abandoned student loans. Enough to help his mother with medical bills. Enough to finally breathe. But at what cost? The next day, Marcus issued a public statement. "I appreciate the offer made by the Donovan family, but I must decline. I don't want money. I want change." 1 month after the accident, Marcus spoke at a town hall meeting on police reform. The community center was packed, standing room only. His hands had shaken for 3 days as he prepared his remarks. But when the moment came, a strange calm settled over him. He stepped up to the microphone and looked out at the sea of faces. "My name is Marcus Reed," he began, voice steady. "Most of you know me from a video that went viral. But that's not who I am. That's just something that happened to me." He paused. "I'm the son of a school cafeteria worker who raised 3 kids on her own. I'm a warehouse employee who works overtime whenever it's offered. I'm a volunteer who teaches robotics to kids who remind me of myself. I'm a man who had never spent a night in jail until last month." The room was silent, every eye fixed on him. "What if I didn't record it?" he asked. "What if I didn't have proof? What if my phone hadn't automatically backed up that video?" Silence. "This happens every day. But most of us don't get to go viral." He looked towards the back, where several officers stood. "I don't believe all police are bad. I believe systems are broken. And broken systems hurt everyone, including good officers trying to do the right thing." He told them about Officer Rodriguez, who tried to arrest Kelsey Donovan and lost his career. Change doesn't come from hating each other. It comes from holding each other accountable. When he finished, the room erupted in applause. People stood. Some wiped away tears. As he made his way back to his seat, a tall man in uniform approached, Captain Thomas Wells, the officer who had dismissed one of Kelsey's earlier cases. Marcus tensed. "Mr. Reed," the captain said, extending his hand. "That took courage. And you're right. We need to do better." 3 months later, the Department of Justice confirmed systematic bias within the Nashville Police Department. They recommended a complete overhaul of policies related to officer accountability. Sergeant Donovan resigned rather than face termination. Sergeant Middleton was suspended without pay. Both faced charges for evidence tampering. Kelsey Donovan pleaded guilty. She was sentenced to 30 days in jail, 5 years probation, mandatory treatment, and community service. At her sentencing, she read a statement: "I want to apologize to Marcus Reed, to Tiffany Wilson, and to everyone else I hurt because I thought rules didn't apply to me. They do. They should. And I'm sorry it took this to make me understand that." Marcus, sitting in the back of the courtroom, nodded slightly. Not forgiveness, but acknowledgement. Recognition of a first step. 6 months after the accident, Marcus returned to school with a scholarship from a local tech company. He still works part-time at the warehouse. Still volunteers at the youth center, though now the kids look at him differently. "You're the guy from the video," they say. And he always responds, "That's just something that happened to me. It's not who I am." Except, in some ways, it is now. Marcus has become a voice for accountability, a symbol of quiet resistance. He leads workshops on police reform. He teaches youth how to know their rights. 1 year after the accident, Marcus received a text from his lawyer. DOJ consent decree just announced. Complete overhaul of MNPD policies, independent oversight, mandatory body cams, new training. It's happening, Marcus. Real change. As he drove home that evening, he passed the intersection where it had all begun. The traffic light turned red, and he stopped, remembering that night. The crack of metal. The smell of alcohol. The cold bite of handcuffs. The light turned green. Marcus drove forward. There are two systems in this country, one that protects, one that punishes. If Marcus didn't hit record, we never would have heard his side. So what can you do? Share this story. Speak up. Challenge the silence. Because privilege should never outrank justice. And no one should be above the law. Not even a cop's daughter.